Hello everybody and welcome back for part 2 of our Deity series with Cleopatra. We are going for a culture victory in this one because that is what we had requested in the YouTube comments, so keep leaving those comments down below. There are also links to everything in the description if you want to catch the live stream, the Discord, the Twitter, the Patreon, things like that. That is all in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a good time, and let's hop right back in. Encampment cleared, which means we now have access to vampires. We are not going to take the vampires because we are obviously going to head into Void Singers, but that option is there for you. I find vampires to be really, really good, especially the vampire castles. We are going to take Void Singers, and that will automatically give us 2 old god obelisks in the cities that already had monuments. If I'm not actively fighting another civ in the game, I typically go for Classical Republic early on. The extra great person points is really nice. Also, having access to the Republic Legacy card later on in the game can be really, really helpful. And to circle back to mysticism for the envoy, and then up to drama and poetry. Core V needs to go in, or Core V, because we are going to try and build the Toa. And then production award settlers will be soon. We are still building the Ancestral Hall really quick before we work on that. Grab Charismatic Leader, I think makes a lot of sense. And then, ooh, what do we want to pick here? This is interesting. Production Awards Builders. I think, let's put Production Awards Settlers in anyway. We might still build one in a city that's not our capital. Having Pingala have Connoisseur, Researcher, and Grants early on in the game is very, very helpful. Obviously, later we are going to want to go towards Curator, but not quite yet. Now, as you tech through the tree, you always want to keep in mind where you are trying to head to. We might want to head to a Petra to make that desert city worth building down at the bottom. But otherwise, some of the places you want to head to are definitely printing, which helps get all of your tourism yields from Great Work of Writing. So we definitely want to head down here at some point, which involves going through the bottom half of the tech tree. So it's good to keep that in mind if you're looking for boosts and those types of things. Then we want to come back up a little bit. There's a lot of good stuff up here, specifically at Oxford University and things like that, if you want to take that route as well. You can't win a culture game without a good amount of science, so we might have to do that. And then as we move through, flight is really important for us, so we will have to come up here for that. And then there's a few other things as well. Now that we can trade with Wilhelmina, I certainly would like to do that. You want to keep her happy, gives us more gold, gives us a little bit of faith, but also you are going to need to have trade routes with everyone in the game at some point, so that can just be our first one. Now that we have 2 diamonds, we are going to look to trade for even more gold. She's not going to give it to us because she already has diamonds, which is kind of lame, but it's good to still keep looking to trade your duplicate resources if you can. At this point, my exploration is kind of at a dead end right now. I have nowhere to really go, and I don't really want to tech into any of the sailing stuff. So we are going to send our scout with our open borders through Wilhelmina's territory and see if we can discover more of the world. We've had to chop some of these rainforests out. I want to get rid of the negative appeal that rainforests give, so we'll chop some of the rainforests out to get Toa. I wasn't able to move Magnus over because moving Magnus over meant that we were going to lose loyalty in Thebes, so we kind of just had to tough it out, and I'm hoping we still get Toa anyways. Gandhi, hello, hi.
My man.
We found somebody else. All right, we are 4 era score away from getting that heroic age we were yapping on about, which means we can probably get monumentality, which is awesome, which means we want to build a holy site here right away so we have enough faith to use monumentality. So that was a lot I just said. Let's grab a Sphinx here. That'll give us culture and faith, but also will give us our first heroic age. Now, of course, we have to wait for the era to flip, but that first Sphinx gives us plus 4 era score. It does appear like we are going to have enough faith in the next era to really make a good use out of monumentality. So I'm going to start right away on building a theater square here, plus 2 because it's next to the government plaza and 2 districts here. But I'm going to start right away and getting these pumped up. And then, yeah, we should work from there. But I think because I know I'm going to be able to buy settlers with faith, I don't need to rush the settlers out of these cities as soon as possible because I can wait and use faith. Wilhelmina is honestly so bad at scouting. How did she miss this goodie hut? That's a free scout. We just got a free scout. That's just free. Wilhelmina. Come on, man. Not that I'm complaining. Definitely not complaining. No complaints here. All right, I've been saving my envoys because we need to try and meet culture city-states. I don't know if any exist, but Fez is really not it for us. I might put 1 into Fez. I only have 2. I might put 1 into Fez to get the +1 science, but I'm saving them because I want to pump them into a culture city-state when we meet them. We got Toa, which is very exciting. I was kind of worried about it because we weren't able to get the most effective chops, but we were able to squeeze out the Temple of Artemis here.
Never looked on aught so grand.
As you can see right now, our empire has 10 tourism. As a very base breakdown of how you win a culture game, you want to make your empire nice and big and beautiful and full of culture and happy things like seaside resorts and rock bands and just a bunch of cultural stuff. You want to pump this number up, you want to pump the culture number up, and that way you can increase the amount of tourists you are getting from other civilizations. And once you have a absolute massive amount of tourists from other civilizations, you win a culture game. So with this 10 tourism, we are trying to spread it to other people. We want other people to be aware of it, and there are methods throughout the game to help you boost the amount or the effectiveness of your tourism. If we go to a culture victory here, as you can see, we haven't collected any tourists yet on the visiting tourist section, but if we hover over Wilhelmina, we have a plus 25% trade, plus 25% tourism boost for a trade route, and plus 25% tourism boost for open borders. So you want to have open borders and trade routes with everyone in the game at all times to keep these tourism numbers boosted. That being said, let's grab open borders with Gandhi to make sure we're getting that tourism boost there as well. Again, I think really trying to pump up our culture numbers nice and early will be helpful for us. So we're going to grab a theater square here. We have met Hercules. Eventually, we're going to grab Hercules. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no one else takes him. And that'll help build districts in some of the end game cities that have a tough time building districts because of their low production. We have Magnus here. We're going to chop out the old god obelisk for a little bit of extra faith. We are going to put this holy site here right away. That way, we should have lots and lots of faith in the next era to buy settlers with. We have recorded history. I am going to shoot for civil service next. I might turn back and grab this holy site adjacency. I'm not sure having one holy site with a +2 makes that quite worth the card. Also, this is a Pangaea map and I'm not seeing anybody else, so I think I know if I come across this way, we will find more people on this side of Wilhelmina. That's where Gandhi is as well. So we might head this way with our scout next. I'm going to save this governor title. I don't really need any of these governors. I want provision with Magnus and I want ritual, so I'm going to need 2 governor titles in the next era, so I'm just going to save this one. Gonna grab an amphitheater and start pumping out those great writers. I also already have curator with Pingala, so once we do get some great works of writing in this city, their tourism boost will be doubled, which is awesome for us. As you go along, you're going to have to start thinking about where you might want to put some national parks, some seaside resorts. Some of the buildings we'll talk about later, but that you are going to need in the end game to boost your tourism numbers. So we have a lot of high appeal tiles up here. So some seaside resort or some national parks makes sense. Maybe some seaside resorts. I don't think they can go in the Arctic. Let's double check that. I don't build seaside resorts often enough to remember exactly. Yeah, desert, grassland, plains. And then they have to be coastal, desert, coastal plains, coastal grasslands with an appeal of breathtaking. So if we look over here, there's going to be a few options for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, oh, not 5. 5 down here. So there's going to be some options for us to get some seaside resorts. Obviously, there are things we can do to boost our appeal later, such as building the Eiffel Tower, which we have marked out here. And that'll help us get more seaside resorts. But it's good to start thinking about these things now so you have a bit of a plan. All right, we have hit our golden age, our heroic age, so we're going to be able to pick a whole bunch of things here. We certainly want monumentality. +2 movement for all builders. May purchase civilian units with faith. This is what's going to allow us to purchase settlers with faith in this era. Settlers are a little bit expensive, so you do have to make sure that you have a good faith income to make this work, which we do, which is why we delayed. Free inquiry is going to be really nice for us, and pen, brush, and voice will be nice. We don't need Exodus at all. We don't have a religion, so it doesn't really matter. Now that we have this, I'm going to actually use this governor title. I have 2 now, which is awesome. We're going to head into provision, so when we buy our settlers, we don't lose any population. And then we're going to head into ritual, which is going to turn our faith per turn into gold, science, and culture as well at a 20% rate. In terms of the cards, I'm pretty into Ilkum. We're not going to be spending our faith on builders. We're going to be spending it on settlers. So I think production towards builders feels pretty good at the moment. We have lots of gold. We don't have any cities with 2 districts, so that's probably not worth it yet. For now, maybe the holy site adjacency card, although it doesn't look like we have quite unlocked it. So I suppose +1 production in all cities still hanging out is fine. And then we definitely want to get to work on some great writer points here as well. I normally don't like these purple cards, but in this case, while you're waiting for the holy site adjacency, it's probably fine. We've met Akkad and Granada, which is profoundly unhelpful, not just because they are blocking the way through, but also because they're not culture city-states. Why? I just want some culture city-states, man. Let's keep friends with her. Can we be open borders again? Oh, we're still good on that. Good. Gonna buy our first settler in Thebes, where Magnus is, so we don't lose the population, and he's gonna come and hang out right over here. Earn double points towards great writers is what, well, we don't have a lot of Diplo favor, but that's what we're gonna put into it. And then the religion one we don't really care about. No points earned towards great admiral. Get out of here, Wilhelmina. That's someone's just mad at Wilhelmina, I think. Or like heralds in this game or something. I have no idea. Maybe England? Royal Navy dockyards. Maybe England's in this game? So I'm starting to go through and I'm starting to find out where are my easy seaside resorts. They need to be flatland tiles. I know earlier I counted this one down here as a seaside resort. It's a hill. I lied. I'm sure you guys already typed it all in the YouTube comments. All right, but you're starting to figure out where your seaside resorts can go. You have a couple easy ones right here. Obviously, we don't want to settle this city right away because it's a bad city. But we have a couple down here. We have a couple over here as well. Once we get Eiffel Tower, a lot of this will be seaside resortable. But this one seems pretty easy. You can get a decent city here. You can settle on a Plains Hill maybe, right? So you can probably settle a city down here fairly easily and it won't be terrible. But yeah, that's kind of the process we're going through, is trying to figure out what we're going to need for our culture victory and settling cities around that. I'm not going to settle a city based on like, can I build 6 districts here? Is it going to have 100 population? Because that's probably not going to help us too much. Instead, if I can get 3 or 4 good seaside resorts in a city. I'm going to make a pretty direct rush for humanism here. There are some things along the way you're going to want to grab, but I think going for art museums right away is helpful, especially because we're about to have 3 theater squares all with amphitheaters ready to go. We can save up some of this cash and maybe just buy art museums all the way through. We'll have to figure out what we want to do with our cash in a minute here. I think there's still a lot to improve in the Empire, so I'm going to grab a builder here quick. There's still just so many tiles we have to go around and improve. As we settle new cities, those cities will start with a builder, which is going to be super nice for us. And then we'll probably focus here on a campus. I can't really explore over the ocean yet, so I have no one else to send trade routes to, even if I wanted to. And we have enough gold without them, so I think we'll focus on a little bit of science next. We have our first great writer, which is awesome. We're going to put it in the city with Pingala, so the tourism from it is doubled. We're up to 18 tourism. Look at that, 18 tourism. Let's go. We can certainly take out the Great Writer points per turn card now. We're going to have lots of Great Writer points, not worried at all. Might as well head for Scripture, I guess. Just to boost, even if it's just a little bit, just to get a little bit more faith. Time to purchase another settler. Oh, yeah. You should be more on top of this. You should be buying them like the second you have enough faith. But we should be fine. And we'll probably send it down to this city. This city over here looks pretty good, too. You could probably get one up by Fez. I'm sending this Chariot Archer to scout out this land here. Maybe an Aqueduct city up here. There's so many options. We just don't know what we're going to find in terms of city-states yet, which is a little bit frustrating. Nothing like a good old Sphinxerino. I used some of our gold to buy an amphitheater here. I thought that was perfectly fine. Gonna chip chop with Magnus a little bit. We're grabbing some builders while we can build them for 30% off. And so I think we're going to move Magnus around and get some chops in. Also built a farm triangle in the capital, so this can be nice and have a nice high population for later in the game. Settling Memphis down here is going to give us a coastal city here to maybe build a harbor, which might be nice. But also it's going to give us access to all these floodplains tiles to build sphinxes and districts. At this point, I'm going to grab Hercules. We are going to be settling a lot of cities that will have a hard time building districts on their own. If we can help them out a bit with Hercules, that would be great. I also don't want anyone else to have access to Hercules, and we'll have the faith to repurchase him to really zip our districts down later in the game. I think this is probably a great place to leave it for episode 2. Just past turn 100, things are starting to turn around. We're about to buy another settler. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. That's quite low for turn 100. You typically want more than 5 cities, but we're going to have printing pretty quick here, which is going to be amazing for us. That'll boost all of our great writers. We have lots of theater squares going down. We're about to have Hercules, so we can build theater squares and harbors and everything else we need very, very quickly here. I'm happy with our setup. I'm not sure if we're ahead or behind yet, because because we have spent some of our time obviously spending 15 turns getting to Hercules. Who knows if that's a good investment or not? I guess we'll find out. But otherwise, I like our setup. We'll see if we can execute it. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to join the live stream, you can check us out, twitch.tv/VanBradley. It is in the description below. Also, there's links there, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, and our Patreon if you would like to be in the subsection of the Discord and do some of our Civ save reviews. That is all there through Twitch or the Patreon if you're not through Twitch. If you become a patron, you will have access to the Discord server, the same privileges as the Twitch subscribers do, which is awesome. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.